For Tony.
Well, today we are staying on top of Metro's Monday malfunction that left one person dead and more than 80 others injured. Today, the district government released a timeline on the emergency that shows the first call for help indicating heavy smoke in the L'Enfant Plaza station was made at 3:22 p.m. But it took 22 minutes before power was cut to the third rail. Now, this timeline is raising some troubling questions. And Fox Eye's Paul Wagner is joining us live from the newsroom tonight with more on this. Paul, you've been asking the hard questions. Are you getting any answers?
We've been getting some, Laura, and we've been passing those along as we've been reporting all week long. But this timeline raises some very troubling questions. And let me point it out to you right away. You said in the open 3:22 in the afternoon. That's right here. That's when someone inside the L'Enfant Plaza station actually noticed some very, very heavy smoke and actually called that in and said they needed firefighters to come to the scene. But it wasn't for 6 long minutes before there was ever a dispatch. This timeline also raises another question as to why it took so long for the first arriving firefighters to get inside the station and down to the tunnel and then finally inside the tunnel. We now know that took 13 minutes.
We know from our interviews with Aldo Villalobos and Reggie Warner, the men got on the Yellow Line train heading for Virginia at around 3:15. Within seconds, both men said the train came to a halt with thick smoke filling the cars.
Next thing, the train stopped, and then the lights went out.
According to the timeline, at 3:22, heavy smoke was reported in the upper level of the station, but it took 6 minutes before firefighters were dispatched at 3:28 on what's called a Metro box alarm. They arrived 3 minutes later at 3:31. By now, the passengers have been sitting in the smoke-filled cars for about 15 minutes, listening to announcements from the driver.
Again, customers, please remain calm. We're about to move back to the platform. Please remain calm. We're all about to move back to the platform. I understand there's smoke on the train. Please do not open the doors. We are all about to move back to the platform.
At 3:33 and again at 3:39, a caller told 911 the train was filling with smoke. At one point, based on a video posted to YouTube, the driver is heard asking transit police for help.
Attention transit officers on the train. Attention transit officers on the train. Please be advised. You need to contact the transit officers at L'Enfant Plaza. They are holding the train on L'Enfant Plaza. You need to get in contact with them to have them to move that train off the platform so I can get this train on the platform. That's what Central is telling me.
That brings in the all-important third rail. In order for the train to move back, the power had to be on. But for firefighters to get to the people on the train, the power on the third rail had to be turned off. At 3:44, the battalion fire chief on the scene got confirmation from Metro the power had been cut to the third rail, meaning firefighters could proceed, but the train couldn't move. At 3:45, 2 separate callers got through to 911, asking if help was on the way. At 3:46, a second alarm was sounded. And 23 minutes then go by before a battalion chief reports at 4:09 a man is having a seizure on the train, and firefighters are performing CPR on a woman we now know is Carol Glover, the only person who died. According to the timeline, at 4:12 and 4:17, the first medic units arrive on the scene. The passenger said from the beginning they waited as long as 40 minutes for help to arrive, and the timeline appears to support that.
So along with those 2 key questions, the 6 minutes to get a dispatch going and the 13 minutes to get firefighters down into the station and then inside the tunnel, we also know from what you just heard from the train conductor that he was trying to move that train. He can't move that train if the doors are open or if the third rail is cut. So was there a delay with Metro Rail trying to get that train moved backward into the station? And was that part of the problem in getting help down to the scene? So we know that that train stayed inside the tunnel. The passengers kept saying that the conductor was saying, I got to move it backward. I'm trying to move it backward. So we're getting some key information here and some leads and clues that we're following, including this timeline, but there's still a lot of questions. Laura?
And Paul, just even watching how that timeline played out, it's frustrating for me as a viewer to see how that happened. And I'm sure for you, too, who you've covered fire, and EMS and the problems that they have had in their delays in response. Have you had any opportunity today to ask why it took so long? Again, I know you've been on them from day one, but are we getting any more answers?
Well, I think you have to look at it this way. The delays appear to be from that 6-minute dispatch. Firefighters get there. It takes 13 minutes to get down inside the tunnel. Well, why? Well, there could be a whole number of explanations. Firefighters need all their equipment. They have to get downstairs. They have to find out where they need to go. They have to make contact with people. There could be a lot of confusion as to where that train is. How far is it inside the station? So there's still a lot of investigating to go on here. We want answers now, Laura. You do, I do, we all do. But I think it's going to take a little bit of time to really sort this out. But this timeline gives us some ideas. We know from the sound that was recorded inside that train that conductor was trying to move the train back. For how long was he trying to do that before somebody said, stop, we're going to send rescue in there? So
there's a lot at play here.
Yeah.
A lot at play.
Exactly.
And a lot of different agencies involved.
And let me just say, too, that as we reported Tuesday night, that the firefighters raters were not working inside the tunnel. Mayor Bowser today announced that she was launching an investigation into why that was happening. So there's that concern as well.
Yeah, a lot of people taking a look at this one,
right,
including you. Thanks very much, Paul Wagner.
Sure.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, today, one of the victims in Monday's metro malfunction at L'Enfant Plaza says he plans to sue the transit agency over the recent events. In the lawsuit expected to be filed tomorrow, Malbert Rich is accusing Metro of negligence. He claims both the train operator and transit police had problems communicating and that Metro also did not follow proper safety protocol. Fox 5's Sherry Lee will have much more on this story coming up at the bottom of the hour.
New tonight, we are learning more information.